Good afternoon. Even believers who can't name the city usually remember their legacy, that they are to Jesus lukewarm Christians he'll vomit from his mouth, and urges them to repent. We really don't want to come to the place of such a status with God. Laodicea is the last of Revelation's 7 churches, and it's the only church that has nothing good said about it. And while the other churches are referred to as being in or of the city mentioned, theirs is called the Church of the Laodiceans, implying that this group of professing believers can't be distinguished from the world around them in God's eyes. This friendship with the world and the love for its things becomes a root cause for many offenses toward God, which he firmly speaks against, even declaring that friends of the world are his enemies, and says, "Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate, saith the Lord. Touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you." But a love for the world naturally means a love for money and material things, which the Laodiceans were infected with. What was the reason for Jesus' view and his response against them? We read in Revelation 3, "So then, because thou art lukewarm, and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth. Because thou sayest, I am rich and increased with goods, and have need of nothing." And here we find a tie-in to the prosperity gospel. The Laodiceans still claimed to be Christian, but had come to rely upon their riches and weren't calling upon God to help them as they should. They had traded faith in the invisible God for what they could see and touch. Without faith, we cannot please God, but how can we have it without relying on him for our needs? This is why scriptures tell us God has chosen the poor of this world to be rich in faith and heirs of the kingdom he promised to those who love him. The poor need to trust God for what they cannot attain, but great riches tend to separate us from depending on him. It's rare for a genuine Christian to be entrusted with mammon, and there's certainly a purpose for such blessings beyond earthly pleasure. They're given to meet the needs of either ourselves or others, or maybe even future ones, and for the work in building God's kingdom. Paul charges Timothy that if any are rich in this world, they should be ready to distribute. And we see this in the conversion of Zacchaeus, who immediately pledged to give half of his goods to the poor in Luke 19. The message of the Bible is to forsake all we have in following Christ. It urges us to lay up treasure in heaven and be rich toward God. But if we're laying up rewards here and now in this world, we won't have them eternally. Don't fall for the enemy's lies, which claim you are that rare one that gets to be rich. Believe God's warnings about coveting riches that lead away from him, and he tells you to flee such things. Thank God for the daily needs he provides you with, and lay hold of contentedness in the center of his will. May God bless you today.